Hi everyone, welcome to The Grind. Today we have a special guest, Jacob. He is one of our pastors here and is part of Marriage Dynamics, which is a ministry ministering to married people. Am I correct to say that?
Correct. Also for dating couples.
And also for dating couples. So basically you a couple, you know, they welcome you.
Come join us.
Yes. So, you know, today I'm going to be talking to two married men to find out why they chose to leave behind a life of bachelor life and you know, life of freedom, and
Why does it sound so bad?
and chose a life, you know, being, you know, bound to one single person. wow. No, in seriousness, no, though. I think you know, these two have found the love of their lives, and so it'll be really cool to, you know, hear their process and how they landed on this one woman out of all the women, I guess, in the world. So yes. So yeah, last week we, you know, talked about, you know, dating and the beginning of love. But for you guys, like, how does being engaged differ from actually dating?
I think for me, once you're engaged, you're actually, the relationship has gotten deeper. I mean, like in terms of understanding each other, you start to understand more about them. It's like not a hello, how are you sort of relationship anymore, but more of like, so what are the things that we need to compromise? The commitment is starting to get there. Like you're starting to go to the stage where you really sort of feel that, yes, this is the right person for me, and I want to get to know even more about her. And yeah, I mean, understanding the person a bit more, and then you fall in love more. So yeah, so that's right.
All right. So Jacob, how is it for you then? I'm going from being like, I guess, you know, how is being engaged different from dating, Jack?
Well, I think it's a commitment bit. You will begin to actually sense more of the commitment, and then you will begin to see more practical challenges that you are going to face.
What a way to make it sound nice. Practical challenges.
Yeah, practical issues or challenges that you might face in this
Joint Marriage
relationship.
Dynamics, right? You know, you hear from Jacob, you know, fix this. So I guess you guys moved from the attraction.
Attraction?
Attraction.
That's the attachment and the attraction phase put together.
The attraction phase. You guys moved on from the attraction phase to the attachment phase. Okay, attraction to attachment.
Yes.
And so, like, honestly, like during the attraction phase, we heard Pastor talked about, it's really more like an emotional phase, right? And it says lasts about 4 to 5 years because you get all these like hormones that's flowing in, like dopamine and oxytocin and all this stuff, right? And so, like, how does this differ from like the infatuation or puppy love mentioned last week?
Well, I think for puppy love, the infatuation phase, you don't think a lot about you know, the challenges and the problems that you face. You are very attracted to the another person's because of the physical appearance, because of you know, the hobbies that you guys have in common. But then once you get into the attachment phase, you begin to, like, as I said, you know, you see this commitment thing more, and you talk about the challenges that you might need to overcome, you know, as you are staying committed together.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I think also because, like, there's still sort of like an attraction phase. It's more of like a, let's say, like an attraction transitioning to attachment phase in between the engagement, right? So the beginning of the attraction, like what Jacob was saying, is more of like the physical attributes that your other half has, like, oh, so beautiful. But then the attraction changes into more of like the personality. Like as you grow deeper in your relationship, you understand a bit more of your other half, and then you get to know about her more in the inside as well, and then you start to appreciate that too. And I think that's the difference of the puppy love from the beginning. It's more of like the physical appearance that you really appreciate, but now it's more of like including the emotional and even her personality. So I think that one was, I think, what can differ in terms of like as the relationship gets deeper during that phase. So yeah.
Because I think on the surface, you know, you always want to present the best to people.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you get deeper in the relationship,
you get tired? No. Stop faking myself.
Like the things from underneath will begin to surface. Like you begin to see more of the person's personality, and not just the strength, but also the weaknesses.
And also the joy, the fact that you start understanding, oh, we actually complement in these certain areas. So I think like not the two of us, okay? But just like there's a complementing between the two of you, because like, oh, you're like this as well, and I'm like this as well. So I guess that's not a problem. But then you start to see other things that you might need to compromise and understand a bit more. So yeah.
I suppose that's like a challenge, right? Like to, I guess, also cultivate the attraction and to remain attracted to your partner. Because, you know, sometimes when you see the bad stuff and you might be like, I'm good, bye.
Yeah.
But then I guess like, what was Pastor was saying, like it was like 4 to 5 years of like cycle and then, you know, restarting again. I suppose like you need to do different things to cultivate that attraction, right? That and that attachment as well. I mean, I'm forever in the, I guess, the infatuation stage, so not quite there yet. But you know, so actually though, like we know that there are some people who actually are sort of like just hooked to the attraction phase, like they're just going from one relationship to another. So what do you guys think about serial monogamy? So like basically people who are constantly in one relationship after the other,
like relationship hopping sort
so
of.
pretty much like, you know,
But you're not talking about like
so not like
marriage phase, right?
no,
You're talking about
like basically
before.
like basically like maybe this person's dating for like 3 weeks and then they stop and then they go to another person. Like I'm sure, I don't know, have you guys had anyone in your life that's like that?
In our life?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think about that though?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, technically they are still, you know, in a relationship, right? They are still like, you know, doing it right, but then they're just going from one to another. What are your thoughts on that?
What I feel is that sometimes when you having that relationship in such a short period of time, and then usually it's something that you're trying to escape from. Like for example, you saw something in that partner that you are not it doesn't please you.
Yeah.
Then you would just get out of that relationship. I do feel that it's in a way sort of like a way for you to get out of that relationship and then try to find someone who would fit that. But then your expectation can sometimes be impossible because you are hoping to find that perfect person. That's why you're going to different relationships. And personally, I do feel like, from how I see it from the people I know, it can be quite harmful for them, because now once they've gone into that different relationship, they suddenly start becoming insecure about themselves, because they feel like, oh, what if this person
doesn't like me?
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
don't want to be and then just
I think it really depends on, you know, what angle we are looking at that. I don't want to impose like Christian principles on people who actually don't have the same belief. But I think practically speaking, I see two things. First is I will be asking the questions, you know, why does that person jump from relationship to relationship like within such a short time? There may be some deeper root issue that is causing that. Maybe there's a place of brokenness that needs to be healed, or maybe an area of immaturity that needs to be developed. So that's first thing. And then the number two, I think, you know, in every relationship you need to put in a lot of effort and energy, and to create experiences together. And I think to a point, if you are jumping from relationship to relationship, you might actually desensitize romance, and it might not be fair to your future spouse. And I mean, practically speaking, you might find it hard to actually enjoy the romance in the long run. So true. I think that would be the angle that I want to answer these questions.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like you talked about underlying like insecurities, and you know, maybe they feel like, you know, for the world to accept me, I need to be in a relationship, so therefore I seek that. Or maybe they've been taught like, oh, you're not complete if you don't have a partner. Or I mean, you see that a lot on TV shows as well, or movies, you know. So
that's why we usually call like relationship, when you have a relationship, is building a relationship, because it's a stepping process. Like it's a process to get your relationship stronger. So that means it's periodical, like it takes a while.
It takes time.
So it's a process.
Exactly.
So like, I mean, with every relationship has its challenges to build, to take care of, to cultivate, so on and so forth. And one of the things that the Shulamite asked Solomon to catch was the little foxes. So for you guys, like, what are the little foxes or dangers that you had to address in your relationship? And how did it like change your relationship? How did it impact it?
Yeah.
So yeah, Jacob, what does the fox say? Just kidding.
I think, yeah, I mean, there are many foxes. Definitely the communications, like our differences, because we come from different backgrounds. We were raised differently.
Yeah.
We had different cultures in our original families. We have different preferences.
Yeah.
Like practical preferences in terms of our food and
Oh,
everything.
do tell us. So what is this practical?
Ooh.
I mean,
Can you go deeper, bro?
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, I didn't like coffee at all.
Get out
Like
here.
before
Get outta here.
before I knew Jack, yeah, I didn't like coffee at
You
all.
know that this is called the grind, right?
I know. I actually find coffee, having coffee in a coffee shop quite waste of money. Yeah.
Wow,
Oh my.
the disrespect. Okay,
But
carry on.
yeah, to be honest,
This is not a little fox, bro.
But
It's a
I
big
mean, she liked coffee a lot,
Yeah.
and so, but I need to slowly adapt myself into that. These are more superficial kind of foxes, but I think one of the bigger foxes that we encounter is we were in a long distance relationship, and that was quite difficult for us at that time because
I see.
I mean when you cannot see each other physically, it does put an impact on the relationship.
Yeah.
And also as a single man, there are many temptations. Yeah,
I see.
and I think how you stay in that relationship is challenging. It's challenging. Yeah.
That is a substantial fox right there.
Substantial fox.
Substantial fox. How about your foxes?
I think one of the little foxes that we have, well, yeah, just bits and pieces of little foxes are like, for example, like even for Rach and I, what we had was because we're culturally different. Like Rach is Chinese, I'm Filipino.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You can tell. Nope,
Just
not
the
at
fact
all.
because like I mean like looking at that already, you can already sense a lot of differences, like how she was raised, how I was raised, and even the simplest ones, like when we go out, like when we go out on a date, she likes to itinerary everything.
Yeah. Plan.
I love it when a plan comes together. I love it when a plan comes together. I love it when a plan comes together.
Create an itinerary,
Like a
for-
timetable.
Yeah, so this is what we're gonna do. But I'm the more chill guy. I'm like, let's just do whatever with that span of time, and then we can just
Go.
yeah. So usually we'll get conflict like that because I was like, but babe, I kind of want to do like we can go somewhere like this and like that, but then but in the itinerary it feels like it will compromise everything. So
Move for me. Come on, we got a plan. We're gonna stick to it.
So that one, as soon as we got married, I start to appreciate that because everything is already there, so I don't really need to think much. So I think my chill self is still chill, so it's good.
You can
So-
continue to be lazy. In that sense.
Yeah, I'm lazy. Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna reject that. I'm just gonna admit that.
Confirm or neither confirm nor deny.
I can neither confirm nor deny details.
So yeah, but of course the one of the things that was my concern as well is the communication, because of course there's language barrier, and the beauty about that though is language barrier is I don't hear what she says. Like in Cantonese, I don't understand. It doesn't hurt me. I'm fine.
You mean she yells at you? She yells at you in Canto? or
When
something?
she's mad, she yells at you in Cantonese.
Cantonese, and then maybe she calls me in Chinese something else. So I don't know. She doesn't call me honey or something. So I don't know. So yeah.
I am so curious what Rachel called him. About to go and be like, hey
We're gonna ask
Rachel.
her.
Yeah, what did she call him? Oh wow. Okay. Cool. But I guess you guys addressed the foxes, right? And this built your relationship up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because sometimes people are like, oh, little foxes, let's just, let it go. But then we see in scripture that if you let the little foxes, come, they'll spoil the vineyard and then
Yeah.
basically ruin the relationship.
Yeah.
And then, surprise, what relationship do you have left, right?
I think a premarital counseling is very important. Not miss the chance to promote it. It's very important. It actually
Yes.
help us to
Yeah.
see the problems and
Yeah.
the little foxes
Yeah.
that we
You
may
realize,
not,
yeah.
we may not realize.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We were the first batch to actually attend the first premarital counseling.
Oh,
There was
yeah,
the group
yeah.
as
We were
well,
the
right?
first batch, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so you guys were doing it together.
Yeah. I mean, not
together, yes, with our future
With,
spouse
yeah.
during that time.
just to be clear.
Okay, all right. So yes, premarital counseling is good, helps address the foxes. But for you, like, what are some essential questions to ask before committing in courtship? Like, I guess for you guys, like, what did it take for you guys to like finally, like, oh, this is the one I want to commit my life to?
For me, of course, I found her attractive physically, but then at the same time, I found her more attractive because her passion and her love for Jesus. I mean, I actually want to find someone who loves Jesus more than me, and I think to choose a person as your spouse for a lifetime is now, in a way, is the biggest investment that you can make, because you are going to stay in that relationship for life. And so that person must be in line with you in terms of your life goal and your worldview, your belief. And as a Christian, I think that's very important. If she is also someone who looks for to seek the treasure in heaven. I mean, that's the life goal and the worldview that we both have in common. So I think that's very important for me.
Yeah.
Was there like a specific thing that made the switch, like, yes, I'm gonna ask her to marry me, or it was just a gradual thing?
Well, actually, when we started dating, the very first things that I asked her whether she is going to be my girlfriend, and then the very first questions that she asked me is, are you going to be serious about getting married? And because she doesn't want to just date for the sake of dating, and she want to date to be married. And so I said yes. I mean, and both of us, we started on that same page when we started dating. Yeah.
I think for me, the one that really sort of gave me that confirmation to like thinking that Rachel is the one is when I first met Rachel's family. I just saw their dynamic. And one thing that reminded me of is our dynamic with my family. And I just saw that, she has the heart to, like, I've already felt like in the future she's going to be a great mom. And that's one thing that I really desired, is to have a partner who had that same sort of love and that concern and that what's the word, the nurturing to have a family. So that's one thing that I saw that I really saw that she's the one. And of course, one thing that before, when Rachel and I were dating, Rachel was not technically like in the same religious background, because I'm a Christian, right? And during the time, well, technically Catholicism is
she was a Catholic Christian.
Yeah, Catholic Christian. The one that I appreciate was when Rachel's mom told me, like, the first time we met, the first time her mom and I met, and she said, like, oh, bring Rachel to church.
Oh.
So for me, I was like, wow, like, I will bring her to church. But then the church that I was in is mainly Tagalog, so I had to translate everything. So that's the reason why we ended up going to ICA, because
I see.
It's English medium. So in general, when I saw her dynamic with her family, although there are differences, but just that yearning, the sense of like having a family, that's where I got attracted even more. So
I think it's very important to know the dynamic of the another person's original family, because it does affect a lot into your marriage.
Because something that's quite worrying, because like for me, for instance, what I'm quite worried about is finding out that the partner says like, just letting you know before we get engaged, I don't want to have kids.
Oh, that will be...
For me, I mean, I guess it's okay, but because if you love the person, you will compromise, right? But knowing the fact that she has that very family-oriented perspective, I was like, that's it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's cool. Like, you guys, figured out like what was, I guess, what was it that made you choose, like, okay, this is the one to go for. Basically, you liked it, you put a ring on it. As to what the the great Beyonce says. You guys got married and made the commitment, and so you guys have been together for however many years. How many years have you guys been?
We're in our 8th.
Same.
Oh wow, you guys.
We got married in not us. I mean, like our.
We got married in the same year.
We got married in the same year.
That's why we're in the same batch of premarital class.
That's why Jacob keeps bothering me by saying like, oh, so you guys were invited in our wedding, but we're not invited in your wedding?
I wasn't invited to their wedding.
Looks like that's a little fox in the relationship of Jacob and
the relationship
Rico.
of friendship.
Yep. Yeah.
Friend, brother, and I wasn't invited.
Right. Anyways, but there are some people though who choose not to place a label on their relationship, who choose not to, they choose, I guess, stay in the non-married phase.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yes, they say that they're attached and then they're committed, but then they refuse to put a label on it. So what are your thoughts on that?
What are your thoughts,
Oh.
Rico?
I do think that, of course, to an extent, there's a good thing about the mindset of, yeah, we are committed. Like we have gone through the relationship has gone deeper, and we are committed to one another. But there's a difference also for me personally is you're declaring that. That's one of the reasons why you're getting engaged, is you're telling everyone that I am engaged to this person and I want to be committed to this person for the rest of my life, to Rachel. And I think that itself is the one that kind of like shows to the people that I am committed to this relationship and I want to get married to Rachel. So I think that's for me, that's one of the things that is quite important when you are having these sort of like step process of you getting engaged and then going to a marriage and get married with the person you love. That's for me, that's how I feel like, because I want to be committed and I am committed to the person, I want people to know that. So
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to this, I think we need to define the cohabitations. I think different people may have different connotations. I won't deny the possibility that in some places or in some situation, maybe the legal system is not as established. So
in terms of like marriage and stuff like that?
Like in terms of marriages, and so maybe marriages are without legal documents. So I don't deny there is such a possibility of that, or maybe there was such a time, in history that the legal system was not as established. But I do think that again, I don't want to impose like Christian principles on people who don't have the same belief. But I think on the practical side, there are. Here's my answers: is I think formality exists for a reason. Sometimes when you have a ceremony. It will relay the solemnity, the sacredness to people's heart, and so that the people can take it more seriously. And I think it's quite similar to what you said. I think ceremony is important. You want to tell people that you are staying committed to it, and I think it is also for yourself. To take it more seriously.
Oh, that's good.
I think like when you put a label on it, I suppose that shows like the world, like, okay, I am serious about this, and and also for myself as well. Like I know, like, yes, situations wise, like maybe I think when you choose to cohabitate with your partner and be like, okay, we're committed to each other, but if we're called to sexual purity, then you're basically setting up yourself in a place where you're probably gonna break that, because I can't imagine like two people who are super attracted to each other and abstaining from sex by themselves. Like that ain't gonna happen, right? Unless
I mean, as a man, I gotta be very honest. I wouldn't be able to actually handle that temptation.
Of course.
So if we do want to, I guess, maintain sexual purity, then obviously not set yourself up in a place where things are gonna happen.
Trap you're basically setting a trap for yourself.
A trap. And then I think sex, as we're going to hear, is best enjoyed within the confines of marriage. So I suppose it's really interesting, cool to hear your stories of how you guys decided on your spouses and making the commitment. And I guess it's a journey that each one is going to be on, and it's going to be different. But definitely something to cultivate and to continue to cultivate, not just because you guys are married, that's it, but yeah, it's I guess a lifelong journey, I suppose, right? Marriage.
yeah.
So
Because you just talk about like the engagement ring,
Mhm.
like and then we have the wedding ring, and then the third ring is the suffering.
suffering. So
Yeah.
together,
Let's not
so
say
they,
it.
so
Let's
they
not
have
say
been
it.
suffering.
It's not suffering, bro.
Suffering.
No, it's
All
not
right,
suffering.
and on that note,
It's not suffering.
and on that note, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at our next grind.
Bye.
Bye.